CEO of Lumber Traders and Hard Nickel. And between the three counties, we feel like we've got a real good mix of industry champions. We expect the first meeting of the larger group of industry CEOs to happen probably in late September or early October. So I'll continue to keep you posted, but that process is moving forward smoothly. Also, had a quick follow-up on the EDC after the conversation that we had last Tuesday, or perhaps 2 weeks ago, after our meeting. And consequently, I'm going to be meeting later this afternoon with Larry Hewitt and Randy Johnson and Doug Sellin and perhaps one additional board member. And the gist of the conversation is going to be to develop a better understanding to what extent the EDC is going to be depending on municipal and public sector partners after 2017. The idea being that if maintaining some level of public sector support is vital to their operational plan moving forward, then we need to know that, and I would like to hear a little bit more about what their plans are for starting to address some of the concerns that all of the other municipal partners have, because as we discussed last week, it will be tough to make additional substantial investments in the EDC if none of the other public sector partners are doing so. In fact, that's a key element to their financial makeup moving forward. And on the other hand, if their goal is to be completely free of public sector support by the end of 2017, then I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about how they expect that to look, what that's going to mean in terms of their private membership and other income streams. So I'll certainly report back on that meeting next week. That's all I got for today.
It's been more productive than I apologize. Last week I did have a chance to attend the Oregon Natural Resources meeting on Thursday. A lot of the work that is occurring right now looks at the recovery options for rural left, options A through F. And there's a bit of tense conversation for the issue of whether or not the statutes require the maintenance of the population or the improvement of the population. And that actually affects which one of the options that you work with. The next meeting that we have scheduled is September 6th. And at the last meeting, it was to have been a presentation on the harvest volumes. But that was delayed. And actually, I had a chance to network with staff, and I recommend the pilot that they're not ready to stand by their numbers. Do not publish them. So I'll keep you posted, but we're looking forward to seeing published numbers, volumes, at next week's meeting.
Nothing from me.
Kathy Blair has been going out for the Dungeness Levee Setback Project on the last few weeks, and they've been doing core drillings and soil borings, and they've done what they expected, mostly silt. And she'll bring some photos to show y'all next work session. So,
Great.
Just to point out, like you stated earlier, it is fairway. The single usage week are here. The fairgrounds, the maintenance staff is doing an incredible job, as they always do in preparation. In fact, it just seems like they're a little bit elevating on the line, so that's a good sign. So it allows us to get the things earlier that we normally don't do just to the last minute. And just a couple other things. There were a couple of capital projects that we have currently going on which weren't completed, which won't be completed by the start of fair. One's the toll barn and one's the goat barn extension. So when you go out and you see things not quite complete, and you may hear a grumble or two here and there also. But everything is safe and everything is the way it should be. But 2017, they're both going to get done.
Good luck.
And thank you for, actually, thanks again
the contract amount for the fairgrounds floor barn structural improvement project as was discussed in work session on August 8th. New amount is coming from REIT, is $7,839.17.
I move to approve the change order increasing the contract amount for the fairgrounds floral barn structural improvement project.
Second?
Seconded, any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
Item 2B is an agreement with San Juan County for their use of our juvenile corrections facility detention vent days. They will pay us $130 a day plus healthcare costs as they come up.
Move to approve the agreement with San Juan County for use of juvenile correction facilities, detention bed days and services.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any questions, comments? All in favor? Carries.
Item 2C is an agreement with the Office of Crime Victims Advocacy, Community Services, and Housing Division to provide funding that strengthens the Victim Witness Assistance Program activities. Maximum amount, reimbursable expenditures, maximum amount of $64,221.
I move to approve the annual grant agreement for the Victim Witness Assistant Grant, covering the period of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017.
Second?
Moved and seconded, any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2D is an agreement with Peninsula Daily News for printing legal publications beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30th, 2017. They're just rolling over the discount that they were giving us before, no change in the rates.
Move to approve the agreement with Peninsula Daily News for printing legal publications beginning July 1, 2016 and ending June 30, 2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and just to clarify, they're the only legal newspaper operating in the county under the state law.
Yes.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2E is an agreement with the City of Swin to provide services and facilities to one another on an as-needed basis, as was presented yesterday in work session by Mary Ellen. This is a reimbursable charges both ways, whichever is doing the work for the other will be reimbursed for the cost.
I move to approve the agreement with the City of Swim.
Second?
Moved and seconded, any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Bids and awards.
Item 3A is the Parks, Fair, and Facilities Department asking you to reject all of the bids for the Cloud County Courthouse grounding projects, all as was discussed in work session back on August 8th.
I move to reject bids for the Clallam County Courthouse grounding project.
Second?
Moved and seconded, any questions, comments?
Just, can you remind me what your plan is at this point, or what you're hoping for?
So we did, just before the end of the year, I've been working with the engineer, and we actually have a plan of attack. One of the main things is, a couple things, we only received one bid. And that one bid was far in excess of our budget. So we do have an alternative plan that should bring the budget down to where we can actually move it. So I hope to have it out for rebid in the next few weeks.
Great.
Joel, the grounding project, is that associated with the antenna?
That is, yes, it's gonna replace the antenna wiring for the sheriff's, emergency operations center. Search suppressors, and that sort of thing to protect the courthouse as a whole. It's an important project.
Moved and seconded to reject these bids. Further comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Budget.
Item 4A is a notice that the following supplemental appropriations will be adopted by resolution on August 30th. In the Health and Human Services Environmental Health Fund, new revenue from the federal funding for a hydrologist to attend 2 strategic initiative advisory team meetings in Olympia, amount of $2,099. Under Sheriff's Operations, reimbursement from Operation Stone Garden grants for patrol and coordinator salary and benefits in the amount of $15,938. Under Sheriff Oxcan Operations, reimbursement from Operation Stone Garden grant for radio network equipment in the amount of $10,742. And under Sheriff Enhanced 911, receipt and expend the remaining funding from the Washington State Military Department Emergency Management Division contracts, total amount $35,000.
So I move that the supplemental appropriations be adopted by resolution on August 30th.
Second.
Seconded, any questions, comments?
Actually, in this case, we're just approving the notice. The adoption will actually take place on August 30th.
Okay.
It's just approval of the notice.
So I'll change my motion to approve the notice.
And I second.
It's moved and seconded, any further comments, questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item 4B is resolution calling for a hearing to be held at 10:30 a.m. August 30th for consideration of the following debatable emergencies. Under Health and Human Services, alcohol, drug abuse. The alcohol drug abuse fund will no longer be used and is being closed. All remaining funds are being moved to the Chemical Dependency Mental Health Fund, total of $82,879.03, and this is one of two. And under Health and Human Services, Chemical Dependency Mental Health, the alcohol drug abuse fund will no longer be used and is being closed. All remaining funds are being moved to the Chemical Dependency Mental Health Fund, in the amount of $82,879.03. Under the Health and Human Services, transfer from the ending fund balance to pay for director's retirement leave balance in the amount of $19,950. That's terminal leave adjustments. That's all of the debatable emergencies.
I move to approve the resolution calling for a debatable emergency public hearing to be held at 10:30 a.m. on August 30th for the consideration of debatable emergencies in the Health and Human Services Department.
Second?
It's moved and seconded, any further questions, comments? All in favor? Motion carries. Administration.
Item 5A is resolution granting approval authority for emergency warrants as allowed by revised Code of Washington 42.24.180.
I move to approve the resolution granting approval authority for emergency warrants.
Second.
It's been seconded, and I assume this has been vetted through the various departments and legal.
It has. And this was the last thing. We believe this happened back in the 90s, when the original RCW came into effect, because the county clearly started doing it back then. But we can't find the resolution, and we don't have electronic records that far back. So as a extra, to be extra safe, we're asking the commissioners to just approve the new resolution granting the authority to follow the state law.
And the $50,000 limit, is that consistent with what our practice has been historically?
Yes, and the $50,000 limit is under our historical practice was my granting authority. The auditor only had 10,000 authority, so we're extending the authority to both of us for the 50,000, as long as it's in the budget. Money has to be in the budget. The emergency warrant is just to shortcut that extra week of coming to the board, and it comes to you later after to ratify.
And for the public's edification, about approximately how many emergency warrants would we see in a typical year, and what would occasionally use an emergency warrant?
Typically, we see 25 to 30 a year, mostly in the small amounts, less than $1,000 to $1,200. And most often they're used in order to create a filing fee for a legal notice that the prosecutor's office is trying to do before they have to include a filing fee, or a small vendor who would create a hardship for them to have to wait for the typical 12-day process for us to process warrants. And every once in a while says, if I'm I'm bringing you your equipment, and when I deliver it, I want to be paid. Those are the typical that happen.
It's only for budget items.
And only for budget items, the item have to be in the budget. This is only shortcutting and delaying, shortcutting the typical, checks don't go out until you approve them, more or less. And this allows on those rare occasions when it really needs to go out ahead of time, and then it comes to you on your next, your meeting, your next meeting to ratify the full explanation. But they already have to be in the budget, that's correct.
Moved and seconded. Any further comments, questions? All in favor? Motion carries. No community development, no public works, no public hearings, public comment. If any member of the public wishing to make general comment before the board, Ken?
A question about 2B. Do we have these agreements for juvenile corrections facilities with other counties?
Sorry, I missed part of it.
Do we have this now agreement with San Juan County? Do we have this agreement with other counties?
We have in the past, currently we do not. San Juan is the only one. We used to have in Jefferson, and they went to kids after.
So, the other thing is yesterday you had a discussion around McDonald Creek Bridge replacement. Now, some years ago, we had, the bridge near us, Suzy Creek Bridge replaced, and we had a temporary bridge, paved bridge, they called it, that was on it and then used for access when they were building a new bridge. So, of course, that's a state highway, it's a bit different, but I think that because we didn't have any real way to easily get around if that was closed for rebuilding rather than having access, it's different than the area that the McDonald Creek Bridge is, where they have other ways. Probably it's going to affect Squint quite a bit, shove the traffic up there, but they have many other ways to get around that area, and I would hope that, I would ask the county not spend the extra money to put in a replacement bridge and close that area for 8 months to do that work.
Anybody else wishing to make a comment? Larry?
I'd like to address the board here today as far as that goes, and I've had at least a few least restrictive alternatives, and also that's, I should say, the psychiatric charges, civil charges. Also, as far as that goes, no contact orders were given to me as far as that goes during my framing investigation. And therefore, as far as that goes, I have a letter of acquittal here showing you that under the RCWs that it was illegal to do so. I'd like you guys to review this for me, and if you ask me not to go upstairs or downstairs, because it's kind of sensitive in therefore, and then have you guys review it and therefore send it upstairs if it needs to be. Thank you very much, and
Anything you want us to review, Larry, just read with the clerk right there?
this can be recorded. The other one we didn't want to record for security reasons, and then the other thing,
You do want it recorded, or you don't?
you can record this.
Okay, thank you.
Be it sensitive information, a name or so, so please do that now. And therefore, the other issue is I'd like to get a meeting with you, with some of your commissioners, and also the head sheriff on this later on. I'll request my, schedule out with you, on this later on.
Okay,
Thank you.
Larry. Okay. Anybody else wishing to make a comment on the board?
You got that.
Anyone?
Am I dismissed?
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming again. So, 10:45, we're in executive session with the prosecuting attorney's office, Board of Commissioners, Director of Community Development, and the Human Resources Risk Department. And the purpose of that session will be to discuss with the legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to potential litigation relating to Ordinance 909, to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party. So that will occur at 10:45. There's no other issues before the board. We'll recess until 10:45, at which time we'll